For the longest time, WWE has reigned supreme in the English-speaking pro wrestling world. Recently, though, another company by the name of AEW has emerged as a very real and worthy competitor. But now, it has descended into chaos after a very real backstage fight between some of the promotion's biggest stars, including the one and only CM Punk. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about exactly that. Let's dive in. First off, AEW has been doing really well recently. 3 years ago, a few independent stalwarts, such as the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, and Cody Rhodes, attempted to create a true competitor for the McMahon family company. Together, and with the funding of billionaire Tony Khan, they formed the AEW, or All Elite Wrestling. And they've been pretty successful, with critically acclaimed TV shows, pay-per-views, higher standards of wrestling, and strong ratings. They've ensured that they earn enough money to run long-term. Plus, a looming new TV deal will ensure their profitability even more. But most of all, their growth maximized in 2021 when they signed some of World Wrestling's biggest names, such as CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan. And don't forget that Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose were already there. Unsurprisingly, Punk was a massive draw, and he literally sold out the Chicago Bulls' home of the United Center, only because of a rumor that said he might return to wrestling 7 years after quitting the WWE. So here's the thing. With all the controversies surrounding Vince McMahon and the rise of the AEW, WWE has been looking weaker than ever. Yes, Triple H is doing a good job as the new head of the company, but it remains to be seen if he can keep it at the top of the wrestling entertainment industry. With time, we may even see more and more stars join the new promotion, because a lot of them have grievances with Vince and his family. Next up, CM Punk has always been kind of difficult to work with. There's absolutely no doubt that Punk is incredibly passionate and is a dazzling performer, but he's also a tough person to work with. He's a huge personality, and he's always prone to getting in some sort of trouble. His infamous exit from the WWE resulted in him falling out of his longtime friendship with fellow wrestler Colt Cabana. This happened after both of them were sued for defamation after they made some unflattering comments about ex-WWE doctor Chris Ammen. While they won that case, they soon sued each other because of a dispute over the legal fees. And their shared history made things even more complicated when Punk signed with AEW, because guess what? Cabana had already been wrestling with them for over a year. Soon, Cabana was sort of demoted. He did not appear on TV in his previous role since Punk's re-emergence, and is now going to be a part of the now AEW-owned version of Ring of Honor. But according to AEW boss Tony Khan, this had nothing to do with their fight. Still, there were a lot of rumors circulating that Punk had told Khan that he wanted his ex-friend gone because of the tension between them. Coming up, Punk's recent outburst. Earlier this week, after the All Out pay-per-view, Punk was the first speaker at the post-show press conference. Khan was sitting alongside him, and then seemingly without even being prompted, he ripped apart into Cabana. The Cookie Master said that he hasn't had anything to do with Cabana for almost a decade, and didn't want anything to do with him even longer than that. He expressed that it's really unfortunate that he has to come up here and speak on this even when he's just trying to do business. He also said that he's a grown man, and if he decides not to be friends with anyone, that is nobody else's business. Well then, maybe you shouldn't talk about it in public. He added that his friends will catch him if he ever falls backwards. But Scott Colton, which is Cabana's real name, never would have done that. Up next, Punk believes Cabana didn't want to see him at the top. It's pretty clear that Punk still harbors a lot of resentment for his former friend. He believes that he wanted to bring Cabana with him to the top, but unfortunately, there was some jealousy involved. He seems to believe that his former friend did not want him to succeed and backstabbed him in some manner. He also revealed that the friendship ended way before he paid all of Cabana's Cabana's bills. He claimed that he has every receipt, invoice, and email that proves that he was the one paying all of the legal fees. And then, in classic Punk style, he fired shots at a bunch of other people as well. Now for the current AEW World Champion shares his frustration with executive vice presidents. So apparently the AEW World Champion is also quite frustrated with executive vice presidents of the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, and Kenny Omega. He suggested that they had leaked the story about him speaking out against Cabana, even though he had absolutely nothing to do with it. Apart from that, he was particularly angry with then champion Adam Page, who made an apparent reference to Punk's past during an on-screen promo, which was building up their title match. Months later, Punk had won the title from Page and was recovering from a serious foot injury. He went on stage for a promo and went off script by calling out Page, and called the dude a coward when he didn't come out. Page, of course, didn't come out because it wasn't in the script. Next, a fight broke down between the AEW stars. Despite Punk's remarkable comments, the press conference continued. A little while later, a security guard could be seen sprinting towards a commotion. That commotion was a very real fight between Punk, Ace, Steel, the Young Bucks, and Omega. While there are multiple narratives on exactly what went down, it's pretty much confirmed that Punk punched Matt Jackson. Steel threw a chair that hit Nick Jackson, and he even bit Omega and pulled his hair. And no, this wasn't part of a storyline at all. In wrestling lingo, it's what you call a shoot. Basically, the dudes broke out of character and got into a very real quarrel with each other. Up next, there will be a lot of consequences. Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer has reported that there have been quite a few suspensions stemming from the fight, and the participants aren't going to appear in any of the events in the coming few weeks. Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful tweeted that all the AEW wrestlers he's spoken to believe that Punk will either have to leave the promotion or make major amends to remain with the company. They're all very angry with the star, and they're not going to let this go easily. We have to say, if Khan does decide to part with Punk, it'll be a super brave decision, because whatever you may think about him, he's easily the company's biggest draw. He's made them a lot of cold hard cash already, and together they can do great things. But at the same time, he's not going to want to part with the Bucks and Omega, who inspired and created the company and are younger. So yeah, at the end of the day, Punk is the one who will have to try and soothe these tensions and eventually maybe make some money from them. Finally, they can use this situation to their advantage, because come on, wrestling's history is full of off-screen drama, inspiring on-screen storylines. Perhaps the most famous example is the Montreal Screwjob, where Vince made the then champion Bret Hart lose the world title to Shawn Michaels after the two stars had been involved in a prolonged real-life dispute. To this day, Vince and his supporters claimed that Hart was planning to walk out of the company with the world title and join the WCW, but that's not legally possible. And Hart had even told McMahon that he was willing to lose to the Heartbreak Kid, just not in Canada. This dramatic situation saw Hart punch McMahon in the face and resulted in Vince turning into the heel, Mr. McMahon's character on TV. Following that, he was involved in a rivalry with the one and only Stone Cold Steve Austin, which sparked the hottest period in the history of the promotion. So while we don't exactly think that Khan is going to become an on-screen character in the same way, they can still utilize this chaos in their favor. For instance, a match between Punk and any mixture of the Bucks and Omega will generate a huge amount of interest in fans. If you ask us, the best thing for all parties would be to sit together and talk. If they can work out their personal problems quickly, they'll be able to come up with a way to capitalize on this in the most lucrative way possible. So if you've been rooting for the AEW, maybe it's time to get even more excited. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on this incredibly entertaining AEW drama? And do you think Punk should leave the promotion? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next one.